wake up, feel the light, a brand new day in sight. Conversations that uplift, setting your dreams alight. Mindset shifts, empowering quotes, fueling your fire, keeping you afloat. Stay inspired daily, let your spirit soar. Our love language is value, giving you more. Join the conversation, every word counts. Motivation matters in large amounts. Stay inspired daily, let your spirit soar. Our love language is value, giving you more. Join the conversation, every word counts. Motivation matters in large amounts. Uplifting chats, start your day, guiding you gently, showing the way. Empowering words, a soothing balm. In our platform, find your calm. Mindset shift and change. Stay inspired, let your goals arrange. Daily motivation, your daily lift. You got this, embrace the gift. Hashtag shift, embrace the change. Stay inspired, let your goals arrange. That's the daily motivation, your daily lift. You got this, embrace the gift. Stay inspired daily, let your spirit soar. Our love language is value, giving you more. Join the conversation, every word counts. Motivation matters in large amounts.
What, you think it's flat? Oh.
Welcome each and everyone. Welcome to the Conversation Motivational Hour with yours truly, SGGR Seon Gregory Gomes Rodney. Yes, you're on to the August platform, the Conversation Motivational Hour, Conversation Motivational Date Night, Conversation Zero to Hero TV Family, Conversation Small Merchandise Craving, Conversation Global Network, Conversation Together We Rise Ministry, the Conversation Yahweh Ministry. With that being said, tonight, I want to tell you I have a part of the Conversation family now. There is not longer our debut, but now her family is the amazing Jennifer McKay. With that being said, tonight I'm going to do all of the pleasantry, and then you're going to hear from the amazing God's chosen vessel for this hour, no other than Jennifer McKay. With that being said, happy anniversary to all those who celebrate an anniversary. The entire month warrant your celebration in whatever form of celebrating an anniversary there is. Happy birthday to all those who celebrate a birthday. Yes, the entire month worth you celebrating that birthday. Celebrate it in style. Oh yes, congratulations to those who purchase a new home, you purchase a new car, increase in salary, promotion in the job, bring a bundle of joy into the world. Congratulations to those who pass the examination, the greatest mantra that says, the height that great man met didn't come by sudden flight. While my companion slept, I kept toiling through the night. The height that great man attained didn't come by sudden flight. But while my companion slept, I kept toiling through the night. I want to tell you, our prayers go to those who right now about to go to the 3-yard nurses in the ICU, CCU, intensive care unit, those who are about to go to the OR to have a procedure done. I want to tell you, God will be able to show His grace, His mercy, His healing grace, and His saving power. God gonna meet you right where you are. Not forgetting those in the long-term care facility, those who are in the nursing home, those who are in the palm, wherever you are in jail or prison, wherever you are confined in shackles because in prison in your mind of situation that so have you bound and see a ray of hope. We want to tell you, meeting you right here. How can we forget those who are going through a time of grief? Our sympathy and our empathy go to those who are grieving in the grieving family this time. That Yah will meet you at a point of your need, meet every need that is so warranted. With that being said, once again, welcome to the August body, which is called the Conversation, our tribe, our village, our community. Our mantra is value. Our sweet spot, is value. Our love language is value. We believe in the reciprocal nature of value. Whether in the penthouse, under the bridge, we value. Have no money in the bank, have money in the bank, we value. Gainfully and meaningfully employed or not, we value. Whether you're married, single, divorced, we value you. Whether you're happy or sad, we value. Whether you're a critical thinker or a casual thinker, we believe in value. Value is our staple. With that being said, once again, we have tonight with you the amazing, the beautiful, God's choice vessel for the hour, God's handmade, God selected you for the time that He take you out of time and bring you into time that you will affect the world. And here you're preparing for your world center stage, bringing your skill set, bringing your talent, bringing your ability that someone will champion a new course in their life. There will be many nuggets will be taken away tonight. So I want you to bring your lexicon. I want you to bring your narrative, which will be changed tonight. I want you to come with a mind that you're ready to learn something. And with that being said, I have again, no longer is our guest, really, it's the family, and she is no other than Jennifer McKay. I'm going to hand you over to Jennifer, and she's going to do her introduction of herself. And for tonight, before I hand over to Jennifer, our topic tonight will be we dealing with foster care. So with that being said, I hand over to my co-host, better way to put it, and no other than Jennifer McKay.
Hi, Pastor Seon. How are you doing tonight? It's been wonderful. Thank you for the introduction. I'm very pleased with everything that you have said about me. So my name is Jennifer, and I am a social worker, and with adoption is like my specialty. 7 or 10 years ago, where I used to work, with children, and that was like part of my heart. Children is my heart. Because children is our future. We have to upkeep them. We have to keep them in prayer. We have to uplift them as well. And just being around children make me happy. It's something that is always a mind-blowing thing when you can excel a child to a next level from where they're at. It's something great. And God, when God is in it as well, it's even make it even greater. So I just want to thank you, Pastor Seon, for having me on the show. And whenever you're ready to discuss the adoption, I'm here to give as many information as possible, because there's a lot of people out there that need to hear what we have to say tonight. And I hope they're ready. Hope that they open their ears. And after viewing the show, I hope that they reconsider what they hear outside of what people say about foster care.
And with that being said, once again, I want to thank you for taking the time off of your busy schedule and to take time off from your family and take time off from your Saturday evening, which is a much really relaxing, chillaxing evening. And, where you deal with yourself, deal with your thoughts, and preparing for the challenging week ahead in terms of the sphere where you operate in terms of your job and so forth and such like, and all the demands that is tugging upon you. So we doesn't take your appearance very lightly. But with that being said, once again, welcome back to the show. Everyone, today will be diving into a topic that deserves way more attention. Once again, let me do the conversation way of introducing our topic. You see, we always try to up the ante. We always try to get better and greater. And that's what we do at the conversation. We always try to evolve. We always try to matriculate into the greater and greater version of ourselves. So on behalf of myself on the conversation platform and all those who will view and view after, once again, welcome Miss Jennifer McKay. Welcome back to the show. Everyone, today we are diving into the topic that deserve way more attention. The topic is foster care. But Jennifer, let me deal with the preambles and deal with the backdrop. I am a recipient of foster care. But the difference in being a recipient of foster care and in the foster care of a family and not one of a stranger. Even though it was a distant family, but it wasn't a stranger. So let me give you the backdrop so someone can understand that we are coming from in the realm of understanding from your learned and trained, what you were taught in the classroom and so on, what you're doing for your job to make sure you get the millionaire that you would want to be someday, buying the plane that we can fly to Uganda all around and do ministry and open those foster care facility. But beside that point, I'm a recipient, so I give in my little experience and the backdrop so we can able to form that synergy tonight. I'm Seon Rodney. I was born in Georgetown Hospital from a small town called New Amsterdam. Grew up in a small, beautiful village called Liverpool. But my mother, I'm the only child of my mother, and my mother being an extremely teenage mom, didn't know what about caring for a child and not being really married. I came by encounters and so on and so forth and such like, even not being married, but not knowing that she wasn't oblivious. She knew what she was getting into. As we say, you go into mud, you go into wherever you must get, you go to crab dance, you must get mud. So she knew exactly what she was getting into, getting unprotected sex. A child may come by some way or, form, shape, and fashion. And as a result of having unprotected sex, yet my mom know that my father was married. So she didn't oblivious to that knowing, but she know that my father was a married man, and my father knew that my mother was a single girl too, and so forth. He didn't hide from her that he is a married man. But beside the point, I am a recipient of that extramarital affair. And because my mom was a teenage mother, didn't know much to care for a child, because she just recognized she have to battle through life as a mother because she lost her mom and leave a lot of children behind, right? And my mom also is a twin. So therefore, at that juncture, she have to really fight through, navigate life, finding her adulthood and doing what she has to do for herself, because most often time the person that hold a family together, the martyr more so, is the mother, because the mother bring the values, the mother do the homework with the children, train the children with the idea out there, most often times working hard, bringing the bacon home and so forth and such like. So most weight is always on the mother. A job of a mother never really ended because it's always 24/7. So now our mom is not there, leave two set of twins, and I tell you, two set of twins. So my mother is one set of twins, and another set of twins, and plus they have singles too, right? So it's so much was weighing upon her at that juncture of her life, and there to bear a beautiful, handsome, chocolate guy by the name of Seon. How to navigate life with Seon? So what happened? Seon had to end up into a distant family home, which deems to be foster care. So what happened? There'd be a shift in my broadopsy. There's a shift in my upbringing, because the first 7 years of a child's life depicts the remaining of the decision that they will make, remaining of all these principles that they will inculcate, developing as they sojourn life. So what happened? I'm more open to the feeling, the motherly feeling, everything, to my foster mother more than my biological mother, even though I nurture for a very short stint from bonding with the biological mother. When you give birth, they say, bond with your baby, they latch on the breast, because the breast and the milk and so forth, that really create that bonding that it's really there for. But it was a very short stint. So therefore, being a foster child in a distant family home, which is my foster parent, Curly Denny Thomas, that many people do not know is not my biological mother. For all intents and purposes, everyone believed that I am her biological mom, because everywhere they see her, they see me holding on for her skirt tail. Wherever they see me at the supermarket, they see me, she take me to the dental clinic, she take me to the wherever it is, she take me to church, she take me to the supermarket, she take me to the fair, she take me to everywhere they see me and her. And therefore she take me while I was still in, back days they call it diaper, you understand, not Pampers now. She take me in the diapers days when I was still had a babe, I still were cutting teeth and so forth. I still had to have dealing with my temperature, I still had to deal with cold, and still had to deal with waking up with boo-boo in my eyes and waking up with snot around my nose and so forth. So she played an integral role to make it clear how small I was when I get into the hands of my foster parent. But one thing along being a foster parent, coming as I grew up and matriculate, I recognized they were not educated as much as I thought internally without asking questions that they were. So, and then I recognized I begin to grow. I recognized recognized, they not have this great financial acumen. You understand? They're not financial stable or financially well-to-do. So they're not financially well-to-do in a job of status. They're not well-to-do in terms of having millions of dollars to give me a secure education. And they didn't have secure assets like we had a car under our home, we had a motorcycle at our home. Like they didn't have the name that will attract people, that great name ID and so forth. So under that condition of my foster parenthood, all I had was great love and care. And being in that position of love and care, it tells me that I didn't lack the requests for my mother and my father. Because as a child, I'm more cared about because it's being provided. I can play with my friends. I can run with my friends. I wasn't mistreated or being under any kind of subjugation that where I will carry marks of violence and those. None of those things were present in my life. You understand? But because sometimes as I get older, you get into conversation, you get into spare with your fellow colleague in class and so forth, and they started to brag and talk about things that their mom and their father and so on. Biologically, it brings sometimes momentary a kind of feeling and emotion, but I didn't lack anything. So I'll just place the backdrop for us to understand on my foster care experience and the foster care facility that I was placing. And one of the things I can take away also, sometimes being a foster parent that doesn't have a name ID, does not have the financial acumen, does not have the kind of influence in terms of spheres of job, it can set you really way back for your trajectory in life. Not that you wouldn't arrive there, but you will get it slower than faster. So that was my experience as a foster child growing up in a foster home. And before I hand over to you, it brings now when you get into contact with your biological mother there, it causes you sometimes to make critical decision, critical thinking, analysis. And for some people, inside it becomes an analysis, it will be a paralysis, which we'll get to that where you can paralyze. We see that children in foster care, the behavioral pattern and so on, the cognitive, which you are more clinically trained to deal with that aspect, but I'm giving my experiences. All right. But I hadn't had the paralysis experience because that was taken care of from an early age, my early childhood. So I was able to do analysis with not being paralyzed. It just helped me to be aware in spaces and places. All right. So with that being said, exactly, foster care is a lifeline for kids who need safety and stability. But the system is complex and often misunderstood. Miss Jennifer McKay, the pleasure is mine to hand over to you, who studied, clinically tested and proven, and who have the best acumen to deal with in what you're doing in, day out and day in those spaces and places. I would like to hand over to you so we can help people to understand foster care tonight.
Thank you, Pastor Seon. So I would just want to say that exactly everything that you have said. I know your adoption was international. So I only have a little bit information on international adoption, but what I know is the adoption that is happening in America. And especially it varies within each state. Like right now in Georgia, there are over 10,000 children that is in foster care right now that we are looking for placement for where they can go. Some of them have placement, some of them don't have any placement. And each individual cases, like, no, don't forget, I've been working with agency for over 10 years. And I have, resign on that and move on to different things. I just want to put that out there. But when I was there, is over 10,000 children in foster care. And our biggest thing that we portray on is to reunite the children with family. Sometimes that don't usually happen. And we have to place them with other people that is not their family member. But our main thing was to place them with relatives. And sometimes relatives don't want their own family. And I understand we can't force them to take their family. because everybody's situation is different. The household could probably have so many children in the home already, because when you take on another person's child, you have to make room for this child. You have to have the heart to say, yes, this is what I'm going to do. A lot of people don't have the heart to do that. And it's okay. But I'm speaking to, I want to change their mindset on how foster care in Georgia specifically. In Georgia, we need a lot more foster homes for children, especially for teenagers and sibling groups. That's one of the main issue that we have in Georgia, is not finding home for teenagers, because you know how a lot of people think of their mind, how they think about that teenager, oh, they're disrespectful, they're not going to listen to me. But if we can just sit down and have a conversation, because I had a lot of teenager on my caseload, and I got them adopted, and they are actually thriving right now. I know a lot of them, they still text me, they see me on Facebook, they would, give me high five, because they had graduated from high school, they're in college, and they still reach out to me. And that's something I feel that I have accomplished, something that I have excelled in, what I know how to make these kids better in life. So it's like, I want people to think that foster care is not a bad thing. We need people to start reading about foster care, understand how foster care can really help, even if it's one child. If we can save one child, and there's different section of foster care that people don't know out there. We have foster care. The whole system is called foster care, but we break it down into different sections. We have foster care, we have adoption, and we have the permanency. And when I like finalize a case and I go out there, after years, I would see kids and they would recognize who I am, even though I placed them in homes as a young child. And for some reason, because they've been on my caseload for so long, that connection, you never leave a child. So it's like when they see me, they know who I am. I'm like, I will go to Walmart and they'll be like, is that Miss McKay? I remember her. So it's something that I want people to understand, that you can do it with guidance, with understanding. They can do it.
And I love when you talk about the connection, because I remember, like I said, alluded in the preambles and in the backdrop, that my mom is a twin. And I remember my mom, twin sister, she quit her job, said that the Lord called her to ministry, and she went to Trinidad to study because she just didn't want to be a pastor, but she wanted to be equipped and she wanted to make sure that she qualified herself. And so she returned with her husband and come to receive me, to take me to Trinidad with them to reside, so I could be with her, not with my mom, but I'll be with her, but my mom will have access to me. And my foster mom said, no, I already been attached to Seon. I get so much love for this child, and I would not give him up. But the one thing I will promise you, I would not change his name, because if my name had changed, I would have been Seon Thomas. But she allowed me to be Seon Rodney. So I would not change his name, but I'm so attached to him, and I would not give him up. If you truly, really want Seon, you have to pay me for all my investment. And she put her in a chokehold, because she have to come up with this money now to pay to take me to Trinidad and pay her for all the money that she invests and so on. But she did that because we developed that close tie. You understand what I'm saying? Because our husband was more an introvert. He don't really talk much. I don't know how they really come together to have a relationship, more so to get married. And and so forth. So she didn't want to give me up. So she come up with this thing, pay me back for all the time I take Seon, and I get attached to him. So I was like my mom little friend. You understand? We play cards together. Back then she would pay me to lose out the little extension from her hair with a little comb and so forth. And then my father back there will get me with the dye and the brush and the comb, dyeing his gray hair and stuff like that. So I've become very much helpful and attached to them also. So at that moment, I see the sadness on their face to give me to my aunt, which my mother twin sister with my mom will have accent to be back in Trinidad. So I understand what is the attachment and the alignment as a foster care that you will bond with your children. And some people think foster care is a very bad thing because it named foster. And sometimes they may think about the behavioral pattern and the behavioral tendency may arise from the child that they may give that care, being that caregiver to. But not all child are very bad because they could become neglect because of mother neglect. The mother don't know how to find herself, so she went into early pregnancy like my mom. You know, she want to experience because don't want to give her direction. She want to receive experience what sex is. She want to know what really love is, what care is, and it can be misguided. She become pregnant. It's not sometimes maliciously somebody just go and they want to get pregnant or so on. Sometimes they want the experience, and as a result of that, they become a parent. Nobody giving them proper guidance. It's children making children, and that's why sometimes you have to put into context sometimes what it warrants being a foster child. What we understand culturally, Jennifer, sometimes we look at people, talk down at people without doing the litany test, sometimes what cause to be. Right? I was that person with bitterness, animosity. I had so much, I'll tell you, welled up within me for my mom more than my dad because I said she carried me for 9 months. She paid a womb pain. But as I get older, I get wiser and I put in things into dealing. Now as a parent, seeing sometimes I have headache, I still have to go to work. Sometimes I'm tired, I still have to go out there because I have my kids depending on me. I have so many dependency because I want to make sure generational, and so much legacy, everything is on my mind. And as a parent in a teenager, don't know what to do, how to do it. And sometimes we can take a posture, talk down at people, look down at people. Sometimes my father was our emotional support because I tell you, our mother died, left 2 set of twins, a lot of singles, they're all, dependent upon each other, no guidance because, and so forth and stuff. Like my grandfather, which is our father, is the manager of transport in Guyana back then. As a transport manager, they get you a couple of weeks here, a couple of weeks there, a couple of weeks there, and you manage. You understand what I'm saying? So it was a lot for her to deal with. So I don't know what that pushed her into to make sure that now she suffered from neglect in a spirit of life, probably financial neglect, emotional neglect, probably she need that companion and so forth and such like. And my father being there, she knows the situation, but he provide what she needed at that time. And many out there, we understand probably that is where you are right now in life. And it's the real thing. Let's stop looking down at teenage pregnancy as a bad thing. Let's stop looking at child and children as their bastard, as we used to call them. Reframe our thinking. They are children of purpose. They are children of destiny who had no other alternative to choose how they should come into this world. Sometimes they come out of abuse. Somebody abused someone and there we call rape, can be a recipient of rape, and they don't want to see that child anymore because every time they see that child, Miss Jennifer, that child is remember them what we call trauma. So they're seeing the trauma. Sometimes that child is the depiction, him or her, of that man that raped her or that woman that raped the man. It can go both ways. And because of that, they want to put that child into a foster care until they are mature enough to deal with the story that they can help that child and so forth. So it can be neglect, it can be abuse, it can be situation where parents also are struggling. They're just living low, even beyond paycheck, and they want the best for the child. And they wish it's somebody who are financially stable, somebody who have great jobs, somebody who have great spaces and so forth, a little more, as we call in Guyanese vernacular, well-to-do, can take care of that child and so forth. So, Ms. Jennifer, I want you to continue along the trend to help us to understand for those who need to reform, not transform, but reform themselves in understanding foster care and foster care children.
Yes, Pastor Seon, like you were saying, there's a lot of children come into care for different reasons. There's so many different reasons that a child would come into care. Sometimes it's not only abuse. Sometimes it's not only neglect. Sometimes is the home environment is unsafe. Due to the fact, when I say unsafe, they don't have any water running in the home. They don't have any lights on in the home. So kids come into care different situation. So according to the situation, that's where they were placed. And we have to understand that when they talk about children behavior, now when you take a child away from the only thing that they know, we have to understand that's a big trauma for them, and for the parents. So we have to support both individual. We have to support the family that we taking their child away from them, and then we have the child is placed with a family that they don't know. That's a trauma. And what we have to understand. So when we place this child with a total stranger, you know, but they do background check and stuff like that. When I said total stranger, the child is don't have any connection. So we took away the only connection that they have and placed them with a family that they don't know. We have to now support them. So that's where the behavior enhance. You understand? So this is where we have to come in. And once we become a foster parent, we have to now get down to their level. Talk with them. How can I help you? What's going on? They're not going to open up right away because they are still angry with the person that removed them from whatever situation that they were in. And, as an adult, when you say, oh, the child is going to be okay, she's going to adopt another family, it's not that easy. I have seen it firsthand. It's not that easy for someone to adapt to a total different environment, because a child can just have little and be happy with a family that they know than to have everything with a family that they don't know. And that is what we don't understand. And that's where we come in and be like, oh, that child is so ungrateful. She have all this. I'm giving it to her. And she's not satisfied. But people don't understand. Children don't need things. They need one thing, is love. They need someone to step up and be a parent to them, to love them, to support them, to keep them safe. Those are the things we need to look at. And I'm going to stress a lot that people need to understand that once they open their home, they're just not going to place a child with you. There's things that you have to go through. There's classes that you have to go through to become a foster parent. There's classes, there's even classes for the child that you are going to receive in your home. And you go to other things, you get background check. There's a list of things that need to get done before a child is placed in your home. So once you are educated about a child coming into your home, then you will understand. And also, not only we have different kind of children now. We have children with disability. We have children who doesn't have any disability. They have children with behavioral issue. So we know who to place what child with, because according to the specialty, the children with special needs, those are the children, I call them children of other abilities. People call them different name, but I look at them as children as other abilities, because sometimes we look at them and I'm going to go a little bit into the word with this part, because God can do anything and raise those children up to be his own army. So I always look at them, those are children with other abilities. So when we place those children in there, especially if I know that one of my child is in a home with special needs, I go to that home. I go way beyond. I support. This is where we come in and we support the family, because we want this family to not only to adopt this child. We want, when we out of their life, the child shall still be thriving. You understand? To thrive to what? And we support the family. There's other things that we even put in place to get these kids ready for this family. So the parents, the foster parents can come and call us and say, oh, I need this for this child. I need that for the child. We support them 100%. We are there for them. So, so we have a lot to understand about foster care, and breaking it down is amazing. When you become and you sit in a class and hear how there's so many children out there that need a single home, just a bed and a room. We look at it every day. Oh, that's nothing to us. But for a child to have a roof over their head, lay in the same bed without any disruption, is something that I know, Seon, you have experienced, Pastor Seon, you have experienced that. I have not experienced that, but I am firsthand of placing a child in that environment. So I can say the smile, just to see that they're in a home, the smile and the happiness that come from within after they get connected with this family, and they see, because kids can sense if a family is really for them. They can feel it.
Let's go with the comment section tonight. Welcome, Keisha Park. Welcome, Keisha Park. Welcome, Deacon Shawin Labasti said, and Shawin Labasti said, blessings, family. Welcome, Oliver Jones. Oliver Jones say, a blessed Saturday evening to Pastor Seon and followers. Welcome, Neil Nelson. Welcome, my brother Wayne Nelson. Welcome, welcome. Happy belated birthday to you. That is my close school friend. We sit next to each other in school, and he's in some one of the state in America. Welcome, Neil Nelson. And then we have Oliver Jones said, good evening, Sister Jennifer. Deacon Shawel Labasi said, good evening, Sister Jennifer. Welcome, Joan Carew. She's watching, and she's watching from New York City. Hi, Joan. Happy to you, and welcome. And then we have Oliver Jones and love. And then we have Claudia Ain says, glory to God. Glory to God. And she said, true. Claudia Ain said, true. She said, true. They look for security for the child. And welcome, Loretta John. Welcome all the way from the Cooperative Republic of New Jersey. Welcome once again. And Jennifer, I think because life, we are battling with three way. We are battling with culture way. Then we are battling with church's way for those who are in church. And then we are battling with God's way. So it's three factors that are playing into people's everyday life and their perspective, how they go about governing their life and decision that they're making. For example, like repetitiously, people used to say to my mom, even in my presence, that when you take people children, and this is culture where we're talking about, when you take people children, they will turn ungrateful when they actually evolve in life to a better standing. They would not look to you and to really like reciprocate what you have done for them. That's one. And the second thing, sometimes they say that even before they evolve, when they're out of the woods, the parent biologically will come to reclaim the children because they are now fully vaccinated. They're out of the woods because now the vital signs are good and so forth and such, like they can walk on their own, they can talk on their own, they can change their own clothes, have their own shower. So they're out of the woods. The parents will come and reclaim them. And second thing, they will say that sometime when the children get knowledge of their parents, they will jaywalk from where they are straight into the arms of their parents. So that is what culture way, and those are the things of culture way that sometimes affect people really want to get into foster care because they're battling with what culture throw at them. Then we have church's way, where church will help you to understand in the auspices that, that how things can be in life with pain and so on, setbacks and so forth. But then we have God's way, when God said, as much as you do to the least, you do it unto me. When I was hungry, you clothed me. When I was naked, you clothed me. When I was hungry, you feed me, sorry. And they said, when I do that, he says, much as you do it unto the least, you do it unto me. The least are these persons who really in need of foster care. As I said, many people say that to my mom. I remember I went to a person who is close in pedigree to me many years ago. because back in those days, I was doing science. I'm a science major by studies, and I was writing, I think, 16 or something subjects CXC at that time. I was not, no, I was not preparing for CXC because you have to be qualified. But back then, you had to pay what we call contingency fee. So you pay for your books for the subject matters to study. The books wasn't free. So I could not have afford the contingency fee money. So I went to a person who are part of my pedigree and so forth and part of my biological lineage and so on. I said, can you give me this money? And the reason why I went to that person, because I know they had it. I know they had the money. They were rolling in the paper. And that person looked at me and says, when you give people, children, money, when they think they're going to turn ungrateful, that person turn and give me money, not for the contingency fee, but to buy a biscuit, a box of Trisco biscuit. Give me, I think, a 15 cheese roll and some other stuff. Excuse me. And some other stuff. But refuse to give me that money to pay the contingency fee. That is for my education. But the person just feel that as they give that money to me, I would not reciprocate for them. And I remember this as very much as yesterday. And I remember returning to my mom and saying, well, I didn't have the money for contingency fee, but I have a box of Trisco and this cheese roll from this person. And my mom looked at me and she says, Seon, she pointed to the coconut tree. You're going to climb that coconut tree. You're going to cut 3 branches. I'm going to help you strip it. And she's going to call a guy, he's dead now, named Cyril Thomas. And we're going to ask him to sell this broom at Borby's High School. I did that. And Jennifer, just as the guy sold that pointer broom, he bring the money. I remember my mom is giving him $5 out of the money back for his passage and so on. And he said, I cannot take this money. So these are culture way that affects people to get into foster care. I want you to walk through people that we can able to destroy culture way, and we destroy churches where we can incline to God way in helping someone. Over to you, Jennifer.
Yes, Pastor Seon, you are so right. When people bring culture and look at foster care as a negative thing because they're not educated on what actually goes on in a child's mind as well. Even though you might, and I could even go even outer of culture, especially when it comes to like different race as well. A race play a different thing. We should not look at a child and say, oh, because the child is not my race, I shouldn't adopt. I believe that I look at all child need a place to stay. So with the culture thing now, because you might have a child that, because they was never raised in a church. They never went to church. They never hear about God because the family never talk about God because a lot of people, don't believe in God. You understand? So that's what a child is going to believe because that's in their household. So with the culture thing now, so when you get a child into your home, you have to now, I'm not saying that you force your culture on this child. What you need to do, you need to take it step by step by step, and eventually this child is going to follow in your footstep because you are the head of the household. So once you start doing the right thing and you get up in the morning and you say to the child, I'm going to church. If the child don't want to go to church, it's okay if there's someone watching the child there. But eventually that child will see this is a consistency, because you have to be consistent with a child. Once you are consistent, there's no way a child is not going to follow in your path, even if it's your own biological child. Once you start doing something, because a child learns from what they see. A child learns from what they know. from that particular person in the household. So if I am doing the right thing, the child eventually will do the right thing. Now, it doesn't always work that way because what? Because God say, you make the child, but you didn't make the child's mind. So that's the thing we have to look at as well. But usually, if a child is seeing a parent is doing the right thing, they will walk in that footstep. They would want to come to that place that they see that they have growth in, because children look up to the parents. They look up to even a caregiver. And
Mhm.
if you have a caregiver, we don't even have to say parent. I'm going to call it a caregiver. So once a child can look up to that caregiver, and that caregiver is doing the right thing, the child will follow in that footstep. So breaking that culture thing, we have to get apart from the culture and look at the child as an individual. Look at the child like if it's your biological child. What would you want for your biological child?
Mhm.
So we have to start opening our mind and said, okay, this is a foster child. I understand she's a foster child, but I'm going to love her no matter what. I'm going to love her as my own. And that's where we have to start with that mindset, putting it out there. Yes, she's a foster child, but she is going to be mine one day. And I want to see the best in her. I want to bring that out from her. So that's where we have to start. We have to meet the child where they're at. Just like if we are in trouble, we would love someone to meet us where we at. Even as an adult, we need help too. So once we start supporting and removing that barrier, which is the culture thing, and focus on the child, things can change. We can start with ourselves, a change, so we can make a difference in a child's life. And when it comes to like the word now, like you said it, God said these things, and this is the reason why we should do it. Now, I'm big on people that say, I want to do it because God told me to do it. Now, a lot of people say that, but they don't understand when they receive the child and is not to up their expectation, it becomes a problem, because they're in their mind, oh, God told me to do this. And if God told me to do this, I'm going to get a perfect child. There's no child in this world is perfect. No one is perfect. We are striving to perfection, even as an adult.
And I love that. And we have welcome Apostle J.D. Passad, and Apostle said, blessing family. Deacon Sharon Labasi said, love the topic tonight, powerful. Apostle J.D. Passad said, amen, sis. Deacon Sharon Labasi said, true. Apostle J.D. Passad said, well said, sis. Deacon Sharon Labasi said, word of encouragement. And I think what happened, many people have that soft spot in their heart to do so, right? To be a foster parent. Or I love the word you said, that replace foster parent with being a caregiver, right? And they want to be a caregiver, and because sometimes culture way has seen it, that people are laughing at them, that, I'm from Guyana and I grew up most of my life in the small little village called Liverpool. They were called it like you're barren, and they took it for like it's a state of shaming. So some people, they go through shaming in their biological family, more so in the neighborhood and in the village of larger. People come to realize that you are a caregiver for someone's children because you do not have. So they will laugh at you. They will make you like names and so on, like call that you are barren, like when the ship is going to come for all barren women, or the ship is coming for all barren men, but not looking how that you are helping to be a caregiver for someone who's going to turn your time of need into a time of it will be met. Because before I hand over to you, Jennifer McKay, that I have grown a little bit enough, because I'm only 48, soon to be 49 in a matter of months. So I'm not ashamed of my age. I think I look well because God give me grace and He may renew my youth daily. With that being said, soon to be 49, I've seen many people who have taken foster children, and I've seen foster children as rise to the occasion when it's come to them over their biological children. I have seen that times. I have seen that times where the biological children just turn their back upon them, and the one they give care rose to the occasion, make sure that they're fed, make sure that they're taken care of, make sure that the bills are paid, and so on. Some parent will say, man, I wish that my children would do what this child I give care to. And sometimes it's and I happen to work in a nursing home. When I came to Atlanta for a very short stint, I worked in the hospital in New York on Merrick Road for a short stint too. And I see so many things with children and parent and foster children and caregiver. And sometimes it brings sadness to your heart. Some people at the nursing home, if I hand over to you, they will tell you the last time they saw the biological parent, Jennifer, is when they sign the paper of the asset. But the foster children that they give or the key come and continue to see them. They never see back the son. They never see back the daughter. But the biological one, they're gone. They take everything that they sign over and they're gone. Sometimes they may not have everything to give, but the last time they saw them is when they drop them off at that place of care. So I want you to continue to help us. Before that, I say welcome, Paula Barnett. Welcome, Paula Barnett. Welcome tonight to the program. Welcome, Odysseus Solomon. Welcome. And tonight we are dealing with being a caregiver in the form of foster parent. So on over to you, Jennifer McKay.
Yes, Pastor Seon, what you say is true, because sometimes when you have your own biological children, they after a certain time, they move on. And then you have this foster child that you have pour into, you have given to, will always be there. Because I even had an experience when I was working in New York, and I was working in this hospital, and she had two children and one foster child. And every time that the person that showed up for her in the hospital was the foster child. And she always would tell me, I have two other children. And I was like, I'm surprised that they're not coming and visit you, your foster child. And she didn't tell me that this child was a foster child until I noticed that the child was a little different from her, and I was like, she's different, but she always said she loved you. And that's what came out from her mouth. She was like, oh, I adopted her many years ago since she was 3 years old. And she said what she's sad about, that her own biological children is not there for her. So I said, well, I can reach out to them. And, it wasn't pleasant about what they say about their own mother, and, thinking back on what you just said, is a sad situation where you have poured into your own and your own turn your back on you. And then you have this particular child that it wasn't your own is supportive. And that's what we have to understand. Sometimes in life can make a whole 360 turn, and they would be there for you. And that's why I say, we have to look at foster children not as foster children, as our own. As long as we open our hearts and we trust that everything is going to be okay, it will be okay. Not saying you wouldn't have bad days and good days, and you can have bad days and good days with your own biological children. So we have to look at it like that. It's a child. And what would you do if it was your biological child? Are you going to open your heart? Are you going to pour into them? And that's what we need to stand on, pouring into these kids. We need homes. I need people to research out there, research what I have said, that especially in Georgia, we need a lot of foster homes for children, especially for siblings group, because sibling is hard to place. Sibling is one of the hardest placement ever, because most agencies doesn't like to split children up. They like to keep the family as a whole. So if we can keep the family as a whole, there's no burden on the children. I have seen where back then, when we separate children, we can see the burden on the older child who was taking care of them when they was in their home. When now you take all the children away from their parent and you split them up. That's a really trauma for a child. So most agency like to keep children together. So that's why we need a lot of more open homes to family. You don't have to adopt. You can foster. You can have, even if you foster a child for a 24 months, do you know what impact you can put on that child's life? So when she find her forever home, she would say, well, I had that. I felt love in that home. And now I'm moving to my forever home. Now I hope and pray that I receive that same love that I have loved in this home. You understand? So it's like we have to know and feel what these children are feeling these days. So that's why I'm going to leave you with this, that there's a lot of homes that need for sibling groups. There's a lot of homes for teenagers. I love my teenagers, them. They're, because they are the future, even though the young ones are watching what the teenagers doing. But if we pour into teenagers, we can make a difference. We can come as a community and just make a difference. And Georgia we are here to help Georgia children, because I think Georgia's slogan is to make Georgia children stronger. And that's what we need, to make them stronger by pouring into them, telling them positive things, taking them by the hand and said, yes, I will be here for you. And once you do that for a child, you would see the difference in a child, from their behavior to their education to their health and their well-being.
And Jesus helped us to understand that he prepared us to deal with God's way.
Yes.
To defy culture way. Because we already alluded to what culture gonna play with our decision making. How culture gonna shape our narrative. How culture gonna bring shame in upon us. And Jesus helped us to understand, for those who are Christians, it says, I came to my own, and my own received me not. Think of that for a moment, where he came to his home for acceptance, his own, and they rejected him. Think about that from a posture of, you want a sense of belonging, and you are rejected over an opportunity you can be a caregiver, but you refuse to be a caregiver and attend to your own, and at that time of need, when your own rejected you. That's why I tell myself it have to be a dire need. My back have to truly be against the wall for me to work again in a nursing home. I'm not looking down to anyone working there. As disclaimer, I'm not saying it's a bad place to work. I'm telling from my experience, it tears me apart. And I was a floor tech. So I strip and wax the floor for the nursing home, until I evolve in representing every nursing home that they do not get flagged by the city, that they are environmental up to par. So I start traveling. It sounded nice, but it was good, but it wasn't easy to get there. But even I will go into different facility like Social Circle, going at Rockdale and Riverdale and all these facilities to make sure that the floor up to par, it doesn't get a flag, and they start losing these stars that will have them to attract people that they will be in good standing with the state. It still breaks your heart. Sometimes I go into someone's room and they calling me their son. I say, I'm not your son. And when they take the picture, the son look totally different from me. But the last time they saw their son or their daughter, when they dropped them off. Mm-hmm. I go into one room, they has a skeleton that they have somebody to purchase them. I put a skeleton in a chair just to feel like it's their son and their daughter sitting there with them. So that's why sometimes it's sometimes hard to deal with that kind of, you understand what I'm saying? And imagine, those could tell you who in a long-term facility is different from in a nursing home. Long-term care facility are people who are more able-bodied. They are financially available, but they are more into podcasts. They are more into church program, but they are in this long-term care facility. They are more donors that keep podcasts like mine and many and on sort of thing going, because at that point of their life, they are more feeling that they want to be up to par with God. But because they don't have that dependency, they're in a long-term care facility. But you hear the stories. So what I'm saying today, before I hand over to Miss Jennifer, is that it will not always be like this for you. It will not always be like this for these kids. Jesus didn't always depend on his own as they receive him not, but there come a time that he was received by those who were meant for him. So tonight, welcome Courtney Johnson, welcome. And he said, good night, Mr. Rodney. Courtney and me grew up together in Liverpool Village, and he's one out of everyone here know me from a boyhood, when I was sucking my finger, when I was sucking my tongue, when I was running in diapers, not pampers. So he can tell you the foster home. He know my foster parent. He know that, probably even know that Auntie Curly and Uncle Vanek weren't my parents. Probably he may know tonight. But they give me everything that I was short of. And to bring it home, Courtney Johnson grew in a foster home too. So he can identify with what I'm saying. So tonight, I want us to turn over to Miss Jennifer to button this up tonight about the importance of foster care, destroying culture way and destroying churches way, and how we can be with God's way, Yahweh, and we can able to be in the kingdom citizen. Jennifer.
Yes, Pastor Seon. So before we go, I just want to, let the people know out there that in each state, especially in Georgia, there's over 10,000 children each day going into foster care. I want us to think about that after we get off. Over 10,000 children going into foster care every single day. And it varies within each state. So I want us to think about that, to just pray about it. Ask God if this is the right thing for you. Speak to people in your community. And you can go to each state have, and I don't know, each state call it totally different. Georgia call it DFACS. New York call it APS, I think. I'm not sure. On each state call it different things. But once you go there, you can get information. Just get some information. You pray about it. Ask God to direct your path, direct your way, and use that, and just go, and just, even if you sit in the class just to hear what they have to say about opening your home to even one child. And I think that would be a good thing for a child to experience. And then you can move on and tell other people. And that's how we grow a community. That's how we build a community for these children. Because we have to understand, these children is our future. They are going to be the one who's going to have to turn around and take care of us. So if we don't pour into them, they cannot pour into us. So I'm going to leave you with this. So I want you to go out there, go to each whatever state you live in, just get some information on foster care, and then make up your mind and see if this is what you want to do.
Courtney Johnson says, so true, Mr. Rodney, and Deacon Shawila Basti says, amen. But I want you to give me one or two success story, because the people tonight are very engaging, and I'm going to leave this to developing thought, and then you're going to give a success story, and then we're going to get out of here tonight. Foster parents are honestly heroes. Foster parents are honestly hero. Corley Denny Thomas, Vanrick Theophilus Thomas, they are heroes. Now I am the wind beneath their wings. Francina for Courtney, she is a hero. Bunch for Courtney is a hero. We can testify tonight that they are our heroes and we are the wind beneath their wings. They step in during the hardest moments of our child's life and offer stability, offer structure and compassion. With that being said, Miss Jennifer, button up and give us one or two success stories you so sojourn in the capacity that you has worked in. The one you just give us two success stories tonight.
So, Pastor Seon, I have several success stories. Okay. I can go on and on and on, but I'm going to give you a specific one that touched my heart. There was a family who the children were placed with, because you can place children anywhere in the state. You don't, it don't have to be in the state that you're living. So I place at some children in another state, and we don't really see the children, but we call, what we have eyes on the children from where the other state, they would watch over the children for us and give us feedback. But I still have to do my part, like connect with the family, talk to the children, make sure everything is going well. So one day, the foster mom called me and she was telling me the school was giving her a hard time, and they having her coming up there every single day to sit with the child. And I was like, what? And I was very professional, so I decided, I had a meeting with the whole school board, because I look at these children on my caseload as my child. These are my children. I can advocate for them. So I reach out to the school, and we had this whole big thing on Zoom. And I didn't like certain things what the principal was saying, because she was saying things like, well, Miss McKay, there's 5,000 students in the school. And I said to her, maybe I was a little unprofessional, but I didn't like the way how she came to me. And I said, I really don't care about the 5,000 students. All I care about is this one child who is on my caseload, and I look at him as my child. And after she thought about it, and we get everything in place, she decided to give him the help that she need. Because I even asked her, do you want me to come to the state? Do you want me to do more? What do you want from me, so I can make this child life a better? So we got everything straightened out. The mom has adopted these children. They are in college right now. In college. One of them is graduating. I keep up with all my kids on my caseload, that even though I haven't been there for years, and even some of the foster parents still reach out to me and ask me questions. Miss McKay, how can I do this? How can I do that? So it was like, after one graduated, and in college, the other one just started college, because that one was a little baby. And he went on, I think the foster mom said that he wants to be a doctor, but he decided, after he went into medical school, he decided to go a different route. So he ended up being he graduated with computers. He's an engineer at this point. So, and that was only one story. I have several stories that even happened in Georgia, where my kids graduated from high school, in college. Like right now, one of them reached out to me the other day, and she said, Miss McKay, I need a reference, because I finished school. She graduated from a college way down in the South, because that's where the family was. And she asked me, and I was like, you want a reference from me? And I was just surprised, because she had all these people that was in her life, but kids always remember who started with them. And she looked at me as a person that started with her. Those were the words that she used. And I did give her the interview, and she got the job. So being a foster parent is, God would say, a helping hand. A helping hand.
So that's why foster parents, you are an hero.
Yes.
Every caregiver, you are an hero. And those you give care to, gonna be the wind beneath your wings. I am the wind beneath my mother's wings. Who is my foster parent? Who is my hero? Carly Denny Thomas didn't feel the womb pain, but she gave me as though she felt the womb pain. And now I am the wind beneath her wings. Courtney Johnson, I wish if they were still alive, but before they pass, he was the wind beneath their wings. Now Courtney has evolved, matriculate. He's a husband. He's married. He has his own children. He is driving. Have so much going for him. He stepped his feet into international waters because of caregivers. They were his hero. Tonight, I want you to understand we have to destroy culture way. Sometimes not standing on church's way, but standing on God's way, kingdom agenda. What God says, what matters. It's my privilege on behalf of the Conversation Motivational Platform, Tribe Community and Village, on behalf of the viewership, the Share Warriors, the commenters, the conversationalists, we want to say to Ms. Jennifer McKay, thank you for gracing us with your skill set, your expertise, your talent, work experience and ethics, and more so with your Christian-minded mindset. We just want to say how grateful we are for you taking the time off, pouring onto us, and God will reciprocate to your capacity. Once again, thank you. And can you remain in the green room for 5 minutes?
Sure.
Wake up, feel the light, a brand new day in sight. Conversations that uplift, setting your dreams alight. Mindset shifts, empowering quotes, fueling your fire, keeping you afloat. Stay inspired daily, let your spirit soar. Our love language is value, giving you more. Join the conversation, every word counts. Motivation matters in large amounts. Stay inspired daily, let your spirit soar. Our love language is value, giving you more. Join the conversation, every word counts. Motivation matters in large amounts. Uplifting chats, start your day, guiding you gently, showing the way. Empowering words, soothing balm. In our platform, find your calm. Mindset shift, embrace the change. Stay inspired, let your goals arrange. Daily motivation, your daily lift. You got this, embrace the gift. Hashtag shift, embrace the change. Stay inspired, let your goals arrange. That's the daily motivation, your daily lift. You got this, embrace the gift. Stay inspired daily, let your spirit soar. Our love language is value, giving you more. Join the conversation, every word counts. Motivation matters